all the franchises have, especially the youngsters. What is your take on that, and how well do you think the teams are competitive?
Yes, it's just great to be back here, first of all. It's still fresh, it's still early in the tournament. We haven't seen the best of all the youngsters yet, but there's already been a few that have put up their hands. I think of Delana Potgieter, quite a few others. Devil Brevis in that first innings as well, first game as well at St George's Park. He got out at a bad time, but he batted at a very difficult situation. It ended up being 50 crucial runs to get my Cape Town in a winning position, and they ultimately ended up winning. So many good games. I mean, the game in Durban, Pretoria Capitals collapsing there at the back end was such a great game. I had to take a shower afterwards. I was so stressed out. It was my team losing out there at the back end. You know, I'm from Pretoria, so I do back them to go on and do well this tournament. But this tournament is all about the youngsters, in my opinion. I love the fact that there's a platform for them to get exposure, to get great experience, to play alongside some of the best players in the world. What a fantastic opportunity.
Can you name some of the few battles that kind of have excited you in the last 2-3 years? Is it winning?
Yes, Jordan Herman. He's at the Sunrisers Eastern Cape at the moment, left-hander, opening bat. He scored a wonderful 100 at Newlands last season, and just a wonderful player and a great prospect for the future. This is an important season for him, though. He's not that young anymore. He's at a place now where he's got some experience behind him, and he needs to start scoring consistently, I feel. We watched a bit of Delana Potgieter the other night for my Cape Town with both bat and ball. Great all-rounder, not only as a bowler but as a batter. When Brevis got out, he took the reins and got my Cape Town over 170, which was a winning score at St George's Park. Quite a few others. I mean, Rickleton is not that young anymore. He's injured, unfortunately, at the start of this tournament. I know a lot of people must have heard of him because he is playing international cricket. But in white ball cricket, I haven't seen a lot of him, and I'm very excited about him and his power play. So I can't wait to watch him take his game to the next level in this year's season, SA20 season. Who else? There are quite a few others that will see progress and grow through the season, and we'll definitely catch up with regards to those players once again.
And in between all these 3 years, have you had any conversations with the young kids, like young cricketers from South Africa? What sort of their thinking has changed with the arrival of the tournament taking up its flight, and how they are excited about their own future in the tournament, in international cricket, the kind of opportunity that it gets along, the opportunity to brush shoulders with the legends of the game, some of the big names of the sport here. So what sort of excitement do these guys carry?
First of all, I'm in the fortunate position to be a commentator here, so I get to spend a lot of time on the field before the start of the play, and I speak to almost all the players, the coaches, and everyone is childishly excited about this tournament. You see the crowds coming in, there's a great atmosphere. There's a unique spirit in South Africa when it comes to sport, and in particular cricket. So it's just great to see the joy in everyone's faces, and that's the secret to this tournament, is when the players are enjoying themselves and they're comfortable and they're having fun out there, the crowds will have fun and the spectators have fun. But yes, I have been in touch with a few of the youngsters, and they all are wide-eyed, very excited, and they understand the opportunity they have. I also had a great session with some of the youngsters before the start of the tournament, all the rookies. I got together with them at the studios of Supersport, so they were very quiet, very nervous to meet me as well. I don't know why, but it was just great to spend a bit of time with them and to hear how excited they are. And I think of Akwena Mapaka, who we've seen in the Test series, in the last Test series, making his Test debut, now being earmarked as one of the greats moving forward, and someone who can sort of rub shoulders with a Kagiso Rabada down the line. And he's learning from the best, and that's the beauty of this tournament. And not only KG, but other world-class bowlers around the world. I mean, they've all come over here. I think of a Gleeson, Trent Bold. We see him taking some wickets in that opener, swinging the ball like always. It's just great to see some of the greatest players in the world. Joe Root. I mean, Joe Root I watched play for the Paul Royals today. Kane Williamson. All the players are here, and it's just a great tournament to be a part of.
Your assessment of how things have gone about for South Africa in the last 2-3 years. The team played a T20 World Cup final. They are again another final, that is in about 6 months down the line.
Yeah.
There is another opportunity with the same set of players in the next month's Champions Trophy. How do you see this overall progress? How do you see the team's health in general? What sort of leadership group do you see in this team? Because when South Africa wasn't at the top of the world, that is at the top of the test rankings. This about 20 years back, about 30 years back. You had different members of the squad taking roles as different leaders in the batting group, the bowling group. So how do you see this thing?
I think the Proteas in the last few years have taken a little bit of unfair criticism, in my opinion. You got to keep in mind all the changes that's happened in the last 3 to 5 years. A lot of experienced players retiring, a lot of coaching staff moving on. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of young faces, fresh faces coming in. 2 new coaches, Shukri Conrad doing the test team, Rob Walter with the white ball cricket. There's a lot of new things, and still they qualified for the T20 World Cup final. That in the WTC final, it is actually incredible, and I feel they deserve a lot more credit for achieving this. It's going to take a little bit of time in saying that to find that consistency that we've had maybe between 2008 to 2015, where we were consistently around the top one of the top teams in the world, and they will get there. It takes time. All teams have to go through those phases to find the experienced players again, to find the right mix of players. I was there in 2005, 6 and 7 where we were all over the place. Very difficult, very inconsistent. It was very difficult to find our groove, and then in 2008 we started clicking. But we had to go through those hard times first.
Maybe you mentioned about the WTC final, 7 wins in a row, getting there, but the opponents, facing a tough opponent like Australia, who've just beaten India 3-1, making a come from behind series win. How difficult or how challenging is it going to be for South Africa, and what are the key areas do you think they need to seize to get the better of it? Just an additional part of that question. Yesterday we had a conversation with Sean Pollack, and he wasn't too excited about South Africa's prospects. So your take on that?
Yes. Okay. First of all, sorry, I'm trying to find the first one again.
What do they have to do to beat a team like Australia?
Yeah, you asked something else first. Sorry, and I was watching that 6, and I also checking. There's only just 2 balls before the last over, so I've got to run down. There's no doubt Australia are favourites. So there's the first question. Proteas have done exceptionally well in the last while. It shows you they're playing a positive brand of cricket. They're going for results. I love that about them. And not only the 7 wins in a row before that, was 1 draw, and then a bunch of wins again in a row before that. So I think it's like 10 out of 11 test match wins. It's an incredible stat. It doesn't happen often. And once again, credit's got to go to them and the coaching staff and the way they are approaching their cricket, with Themba Bavuma as captain, taken a lot of criticism over the years, and look at where he's now, taking the team to the WTC final, over and above incredible cricketing nations like India, like New Zealand, like England. So great achievement. But yes, the reason why they're not favourites is they're still very inexperienced. They haven't travelled to places like England of late. They haven't been to Australia. So travelling experience comes with time as well. Yes, they played well in Bangladesh, but it was only 2 test match series against not one of the best teams in the world. So now they're up against Australia at Lords, moving wicket against one of the best bowling attacks in the world, and a batting lineup that bats deep. They all seem to be in form. But I will never write my team off. They're a bunch of fighters, and Themba Bavuma mentioned this in the press conference. He said, I will take this team to war because I know they're going to fight for each other. So that's all you want. If you have that kind of attitude, you can achieve anything, and I back the guys to go all the way and win this WTC final.
Especially these wins have come on the back of a team which haven't had one of the top players, because a lot of players have been sidelined due to injuries. But guys like Quena and David Bellingham coming in, scoring 14, he's been taking excellent catches in the slips as well. Just a word about these youngsters, 2 of these youngsters, Quena and David.
The most important thing is to stick with the team they've got now, with the 13, 14, 15 players, and build around that. That's what I had when I grew up in the Proteas side. Graham Smith backed me. I wasn't always consistent in the first few years, and he stuck with me. And then finally, the team reaped the rewards from me becoming more consistent. And there are quite a few other examples like that. Hashim Amla, Dale Steyn, the list goes on. You could easily have dropped those players because they were inconsistent early on, but they stuck with the team. They believed in what they had, and I feel the Proteas need to do the same now. They have a very special group of players together. Stick with the guys. It's going to be inconsistent at times, but just stick with them. That's what I feel. Youngsters like Bellingham, love what I see there. I think he still needs to work a little bit on hard hands he's got. He comes too hard at the ball, I feel, at good deliveries. He needs to sort of be a bit more decisive and better with his shot selection. But when he gets going, very difficult to stop and beautiful on the ice to watch. Kwena Mapaka's got a long way to go, but he's got a KG Rabada. He's under his wing and he's learning from the best.